Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria. And guys, here's the deal. First of all, look at how flat Stanley I look with nothing on my face. Like, is that not, like, the difference that contour, bronzer, highlight, all of that, like, the difference that it makes to the face is truly baffling to me, because I look in the monitor and I'm like, wow, I look like a little spudless potato, and I don't even mean it in, like, a mean, self-deprecating way. It's just so crazy to me how flat my face looks when I don't have any bronzer, blush, or highlight on. Like, it's crazy. And that brings us to today's video, wouldn't you know? So I'm here today to dive into the two new Nars palettes. They are both face palettes. They release Summer Lights and Hot Nights, and I'm so excited to dive into these with you guys, because when I first saw them released, I was like a little bit confused, like, girl, why they look so similar online? And then I saw some swatches where they didn't look similar, and I was just like, I need to know for myself, are they similar, are they not? Maybe one is for light to medium skin tones and the other is for like medium to deep skin tones. Like, I don't know what the deal is. I picked both of them up. They are $59, and that's what we're gonna dive into. So let's go ahead and start off here with Summer Lights, because it is the first one I picked up. So here is Summer Lights. I really like this packaging. It looks really pretty, has like a nice gradient to it. So this right here is the inside of the Summer Lights palette. You can definitely see we have shimmer, shimmer, matte, shimmer as far as the shadows go, and then a highlight and a matte bronzer right here. And this one does appear to be more on the light to medium skin palette. I don't know if this highlight will work for my skin tone. It seems a little bit dark for me. Obviously we're gonna like swatch it all for real. Yeah, that might pull a little bit too deep on my super fair skin, but I think the bronzer might work pretty well. I want to look at this one up against it. Oh yeah, that one definitely wouldn't be a highlight for me. Okay, so I'm not sure if the highlight or the lightest shimmer in this palette will work for me, but this is Summer Lights. Now let's go ahead and open the other one, which is Hot Nights. Okay, so pretty gradient, very similar. This one has more of like a red tone to it, but still really pretty. All right, so now I'm a little bit confused, because I thought, like I told you guys earlier, maybe one of these was for like light to medium and then the next one would be for medium to deep. And that doesn't appear to be the case. All right, and here's a shot of them next to each other just for comparison's sake. I definitely think this one over here has more of a nice like peachy pale pink kind of undertone to it, leaning purple, and then this one is more of like an overall bronzy kind of look. I think I want to swatch them for you guys on my arm right next to each other. That way we can compare and contrast them that way. I think that'll be the best way to do it. Okay, so this one right here is the Summer Lights palette. It has the 4 eyeshadows and then the highlight and the bronzer. All right, and then on the other side there, went ahead and moved you in, and we have the Hot Nights palette on the other side. Really pretty. I just don't understand why the highlight and the bronzer look so similar. All right, I went ahead and I unzoomed the camera just so we can see this in a little bit different lighting. Sometimes when I zoom the camera in versus out, and you know, vice versa, sometimes the lighting can change and like hit the colors differently. So this is one of those instances where I definitely want you guys to see up close and far away with the camera zoomed. I am a little bit oddly perturbed at the fact that there are very, very similar toned bronzers and very similar toned highlights in both of these packs. Like, I don't understand why, if you're gonna come out with two face palettes like this, why wouldn't you do one for light to medium and then medium to deep skin tones? Like, I am truly baffled at the fact that these are not skin tone inclusive when you had such a big opportunity to make them skin tone inclusive. And maybe it's just me, but like, I don't see these bronzers working on medium to deep skin tone. Like, there's nothing on the back of my hand. I want to swatch both bronzers for you guys next to each other, just by themselves right here, just so you guys can see how they are literally almost the exact same thing. Like, these are so similar, right? Like, the undertone is slightly different, but other than that, like, I don't get it. If I had to say, the only real difference is that the one from the Hot Nights collection, which is the one that has more of the pinky tones to it, the bronzer does have a little bit more of a pink undertone in that palette, I would say. And I don't know if that's gonna pick up on here or not, but it does look like that a little bit in person. And the other one does have more of just a standard like warm bronzer tone to it. So overall, like, I love the idea of doing this. I think it's really cute to have one that's more of like an everyday super fun, super bronzy blowout kind of thing, and have one that's more pinky vibed. But I don't understand why, if you were going to do this, why would you so drastically underserve like the medium to deep skin tone range? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I'm going to apply it and I'm not going to keep harping on it, but I'm genuinely so shocked that this is a thing right here. Like I'm actually shocked. I did not anticipate this. I thought I was going to pull these out, swatch them, and go, okay, this one is for medium to deep skin. That's awesome. I can't use it, but that's great. And then I would pick the other one and, you know, put it on my face and it wouldn't be a thing. And so I'm like, when I'm sitting here kind of actually stumbling for words, it's because I'm legitimately shocked. Now, moving past the shade range thing, which I promise I'm not going to keep harping on, I just wanted to get that out there because if you're like me and you're genuinely shocked, you're not alone. But as far as the good attributes to this, everything is very nice, very creamy. Everything feels literally so smooth, which is great. And the amount of product you get in the eyeshadows is really nice. You get 0.11 ounces a piece. It actually does say on the back of the package here, 0.11 ounces times 4. So it's not take that and divide it by 4. It's each one has that much in it, which is great. That is, if my standard is 0.05, that's like over 2 standard eyeshadows a piece, which is great. So this truly would be a nice like travel option if you're wanting to just go somewhere, pack one palette. Maybe you might have to add like a little blush if you like blush. If not, take it and go. Or if you had the other palette and you wanted to just travel with one, you'd probably be able to pop a little bit of one of these pink shades on the cheek for a little shimmer, a little pink, a little flush. But for the most part, again, you'd be able to do your entire look with one of these palettes, which is really nice. So I just wanted to point that out. They do, like I said, feel really nice. I'm excited to put them on the face and just see where it goes. So one last time, these are the swatches. I'm going to go ahead, wipe them off, and let's dive in. Now for the bronzer, I am going to be going out of the Summer Lights palette and taking this nice bronzer right here. Again, this one is the one that was a little bit warmer on the skin as opposed to pinkier-ish undertone. So I think it'll work a little better for me, and I'm just going to take my normal duo fiber and I'm going to dig in. And this actually does have a nice full-size mirror on it as well, which I like. So let's go ahead here and get to bronzing the skin. It's actually a really pretty shade too. I like it. And one of the things that I love about face palettes, you guys know as of late, I have been all about like a more minimalistic eye and very minimalistic face in general. And I feel like face palettes like this really just make your makeup go so fast. Okay, and for the record, you guys, this is the bronzer shade Destination Unknown, and I really love this shade. I don't know, I didn't read in there long enough to find out if these eyeshadows or the bronzer or the highlight in either of these palettes is specific like only to these, if they're limited edition and only in these palettes, but this blended so nicely and just diffused so glowily. It diffused so effortlessly onto the skin. I should probably quit making up words, but I love this. Okay, now for blush, I was thinking about trying to take maybe these 2 shades right here and like really lightly tapping it in for like a glowy kind of cheek moment. So I'm just taking this Morphe brush and I'm going to tap between these 2 pink shades and kind of get my brush all good and coated. You can see it right there. And then I'm just going to apply it to the back of my hand and see what it looks like before I apply it to my face. And because, you know, I would rather not mess up my entire makeup look. See, I actually think that could look really pretty if you do it just like a really light veiling. That's what we're going to do here. We're just going to dive in. It's going to knock off any and all excess. And then let's just take it very lightly. And it's going to be a very like glowy, bronzy cheek moment. That's why I'm not wanting to build up anything crazy, just a little bit here. Because see, like that's really pretty. That's a really beautiful shade. Definitely don't go overboard because it is an eyeshadow. So like it has shadow pigment to it. But I definitely think you could make that whole palette work for you, especially if you're on like this one right here and you like blushy shades. For me personally, like if I'm out and about and I don't have a blush, I would have no issue just running this bronzer a little bit onto my cheek and calling it a day. Like it's fine. A lot of people don't even use blush. Myself personally, I'm a blush fiend, but if I didn't have this other palette, I would just run the bronzer up there and be fine with it, you know? You could go either way. I know it looks a little crazy, but we're gonna blend it out. But that is really pretty, and it has like a nice sheen to it, again, because it's more of a shimmery shadow. Really pretty. So real quick, I am gonna, like I said, blend this out. This is just the Heavenly Luxe Jumbo Powder number 3 from IT Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna blend this a little bit. And then after I went ahead and I blended it out with that dry brush, I'm going to grab my Morphe Jaclyn Hill JH01 and my normal Hourglass ambient powders here. I love these so much. I just swirl my brush all the way in there and then take it to the face, and these help blend everything together so nicely. Like I highly recommend these as a finishing powder, and it literally is so nice and glowy. My skin just looks so healthy. It looks like I've been out in the sun catching some rays and getting tan, except we all know it's fake because I can't tan. So I was sitting here trying to figure out like which eye palette would I want to go with, and you guys know typically I'm more of like a warm tone queen. This is my jam. I love like super simple bronzy eyes, but I thought maybe for the purposes of today's video I could play around with this because I couldn't use the bronzer out of this palette. I could at least play with the eyeshadows. So now it's time for these shadows, guys, and I think how I'm going to work this is I'm going to take this Morphe M433 brush and I'm going to work my way from darkest to lightest through this palette. So I'm actually going to start with the deepest shade, work that into the outer V, really deepen it up, make it a little bit sultry but not too much, and then I'm going to go to the next shade after that and I'm going to work that into like the outer quarter of the eye, the next shade, the next quarter of the eye, and then for the inner portion or the inner quarter of the eye I want to take the lightest shade in here, which is a nice bright kind of pearlescent shade, and I want to take that and fan it over the inner portion of the eye and kind of ombre it over the rest of the colors, because I think it would look really, really beautiful to have all of these shades kind of fade from one to the next but not have it be any exact color scheme. Like I just want them all to be there and be present but just kind of meld together, if that makes sense, and just create dimension that way. So I think that's what we're gonna do and I think it's gonna look really pretty. Okay guys, so I finished that part up and I really like the way it turned out. They blended nicely, no issues there. The only problem that I am having again with the skin tone situation is that this shade right here, this is the lightest shade. It's the shade that I have in the inner portion of the eye. It's not bright enough for my skin tone really, so you can barely see it. And if I were to pick up any type of a face palette like this, I do like there to be a shade in there that's really, really bright. I would even be okay with this same tone if it was just a brighter highlight or a brighter shade in general. And it's not. It's a little bit lackluster for me. It's more of a subtle shimmer than it is like a really impactful shimmer. It has more of a satin sheen to it versus a nice, bright, intense, highlighty kind of shade. Again, personal preference there. You guys know I really love that portion of my eye to be nice and bright. So for me, that's an issue. And it's also kind of an issue because that's the lightest shade out of highlight and eyeshadow between both of these, and it's still not quite light enough for my skin tone. Now that kind of leads me to believe though that this palette, if you're looking at like the overall color spectrum of skin, the deepest and the lightest, I think that what we're running into is that it's geared not really for the lightest, and it's also definitely not geared for the deepest. Like it's geared for like here to like here. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely not geared for everybody, and I think that that's what we're running into, at least for me personally, because again, I am on the very, very fair side and it's not light enough for me. Okay, so now for here, it's going to be time for highlight, and we're going to give them both a shot and see if maybe one of them will work. First thing I'm going to do though is set my face, because y'all know this is how I always do my highlight. I like to give myself a little setting spray first. So we're going to jump back to the more bronzy palette. This is the Summer Lights, and I'm going to take this highlight. If I had to guess between the two, this one's definitely lighter, so I think it would work better for my skin tone, but I'm still, again, not sure if either of them will completely work or not. So I just took this. This is the BH4 from their Festival palette. I actually did a full review of this collection. I'll link it up here. Super beautiful, super bright, and I love the eye look I came up with, so definitely check that out if you're curious. But I'm just going to take this here and apply a little bit to my cheek. Okay, it's pretty. Has a really nice glow to it. You can definitely see it right there. Wow, and in real life, by the way, I was just looking in the monitor. In real life, when I turn my head, it turns me completely gray right here. Yeah, that's way too dark for my skin. Okay, so if that shade is too dark on this side, I know for sure this shade's gonna be too dark, because I'll swatch them next to each other for you. This one is like so much darker than this one. Like, yeah, so if this one didn't work for me, like that, there's no way that one will. But I do want to try out of the other palette, the shade that I put on the inner eye right here. Like I told you guys, I'll go ahead and swatch it for you. It is the brightest shade out of all of them. Like, it's a horrible swatch, but I just put it right down there. You can see it is a little bit lighter. So I thought maybe I could try to use that one on the other cheek. I don't know. And see. Oh, nope. I'm sorry, guys. It looks like it might be showing up okay on camera, but in real life, yet again, it's way too dark. And I can already tell you it's too thick. Like it looks, I don't know how to describe this one. Like it looks really chunky kind of on my skin. I don't know, it just doesn't look good. I do want to even it out though, so I'm gonna go ahead and take a little bit of the other shade that we already put on this side, no, this side, and I'm gonna go ahead and pop it over here, just so that way we can even my life out a little bit, because girl, we're looking a little bit crazy. You know what I'm gonna do actually, because that is so dark, I'm gonna just kind of take this big fluffy brush here, I'm gonna just blend that into my cheek, and instead of having that be my highlight, I'm just gonna focus that on like more of a cheek glow moment. And the first thing I'm gonna do is actually take a little bit of the Too Faced You're So Jelly highlight, and I'm gonna pop it right over that section. Ooh, yes, like there's something that's not gonna cast me, honey. I don't think so. I'm gonna cast you out like the devil you are, yes. The other product that I want to tap over top of that is going to be a little bit of the Fenty How Many Carats highlight, and this is just to give it a little bit of that radiance back, and you just take it with your finger here, bam. Hello, hi, we're done. All right, you guys, I went ahead, I finished up the rest of my face, and the first thing that I want to mention to you guys is what is on my lips. As you can see, I have 2 lips swatched right here. With this collection, Nars actually came out with a couple more shades, I believe they're new shades, of their satin lip pencils, which I am wearing this shade on my lips right now. It is Giusti. Giusti, Giusti, girl, I don't know, can't pronounce it, but that is what is on my lips, and swatched, it is this first shade right here, and then this purple shade is this guy, which is Promiscuous, which is a really beautiful bright purple shade, and normally these shades are a little bit outside my comfort zone, so I did pick them up in the hopes that I will kind of begin evolving more into some color for summer, especially when it comes to this purple shade, because I really, really love it, and it's super beautiful, and if I were to do like a really light eye, I know that I could rock something like that. At least I hope I could. So stay tuned, because your girl might be trying them on in the near future. Now, aside from that, I also went in with some Too Faced Better Than Sex Mascara for the upper and lower lash line. If you see a little black dot right here somewhere, I not only stabbed myself in the eye with the mascara wand, but then I proceeded to take this and jam it into the side of my nose. So that was really cool, really fun, really fresh, not annoying at all. Now for the rest of my face, I don't know if I went over those products or not, so I figure I'll run through them. I am using the Tatcha Silk Canvas as a primer, as well as some of the Smashbox Primer Oil right here. Foundation, I'm wearing the L'Oreal True Match in Classic Ivory right here, N2 if you were curious. I'm using the Urban Decay Double Down Brow right here. This is in Neutral Nana. That's their brow powder. If you haven't seen my video where I took all of the steps that we learned from the fabulous Scott Barnes when he did Tati's makeup, and I turned that into a more wearable look. If you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up here. It was the tail end of last week. I think it was Friday's video actually. And in that video, I used this brow powder, and I used to be a huge brow powder lover. Like I talked about it all the time on my channel, and I drifted away from it, and then after doing that video, I just like can't stop, won't stop. Like I keep falling back in love with it. So that is what is in my brows, and then I set those down with the Gimme Brow from Benefit in shade 5. And then what else did I use? For concealer, I used the Nars Natural Radiance Creamy Concealer. This is in Light 1 Chantilly. For powder, I used the Maybelline Fit Me in 05 Fair. You guys saw the rest of them down to the highlights, and I think that's everything. Okay, now with all of the makeup out of the way that's on my face, let's go ahead and chit chat about what we're really here for, these Nars palettes. So I'm going to break this down into 2 different categories. The first one being the actual quality of the product. Now, as far as that goes, I really like it. I didn't have any issues. The bronzer blended out really nicely. So as far as the quality of the product, I feel like it's pretty even, pretty universal. Even in swatching, everything was very consistent between the 2 palettes. So one being better than the other, not so much. But then that brings us to the other side of this coin, which is the actual usability of these products, and that is going to unfortunately vary very heavily based on your skin tone. So for me, because I am on the lighter side of things, I probably, like given the choice to do over after I've done this video, I wouldn't purchase either of these, and the only reason is because neither of them work 100% for my skin tone, and I'm really sad about that, because this one, the more bronzy palette, I love this bronzer. It went on so beautifully. It is a beautiful undertone, blended out like a dream, buildable, just so stunning. But this highlight is not even close to being light enough for my skin tone, and it's not the type of highlight where it was developed and curated in a way that it works on multiple skin tones. I feel like this is the type that you will have to be one fixed skin tone to work with this highlight. So overall, I'm not upset with these. Like as far as the quality goes, like I said, it's fine. I'm just bummed that it doesn't work for me. But just imagine, you know, I'm on the more fair side of things and these palettes don't work for me. But imagine being on like the deeper side of the spectrum and literally nothing ever works for you. Like this is why I talk so often about skin tone inclusivity on my channel and making sure that in 2019, for the the love of God, we are not shopping for our skin tone. Like, we shouldn't be. And then even when you curate a palette like this, that you'd look at it and go, oh, well, that's clearly made for like light to medium skin, and then it still doesn't work for the light skin tone, I'm just like, what? Like, how many different skin tones did you test this on? Like, what is going on? So anyways, you guys, those are my thoughts. You can let me know yours down below. Overall, like I said, the quality is really, really nice. Just watch your skin tone when you're shopping, apparently. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me today. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on this collection, the colors. Did you pick it up? Do you like it? Were you thinking about it? Leave all of that down below. Even if you were curious, leave it down below, because I like knowing what you guys were looking at, what you were curious about, just so I know, hey, should I review that again next time or maybe not? Like, leave me your thoughts and let me know all of that down below. And I just also want to throw out there real quick, like, this video wasn't aimed at trying to like throw any shade at Nars, but when I review something like this, it just kind of comes out of me naturally. So those are just my natural feedback, my natural reactions. And I feel bad because Nars really does do a beautiful job of curating amazing makeup, and the quality is beautiful, and the longevity and just everything about what they do is so, so beautiful. And they even did come out with, I believe it was their Skin Deep palette. I reviewed it a long time ago on my channel, and it was an eyeshadow palette that was designed to be skin tone inclusive. Like, it was all neutrals, but it was meant to work for everyone. And so they do think about things in that respect, and it shows that the brand itself is evolving into that. And clearly these did miss the mark, like, there's no denying it. But I just want to throw it out there, like, Nars isn't completely oblivious. Nars is, I think, working at it. But my hope and goal by being honest and talking about these kind of things with you guys is that things like this don't continue to happen, where we release 2 palettes and neither of them work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's why I want this conversation to be had. And it's not something that needs to be a conversation of hate, and it doesn't need to be a conversation of F you and F that, and where you guys are even mean to each other in the comments. Like, this is a conversation that needs to happen just to build people up and to make people aware, because awareness is really what it's all about. Like, having somebody come into this and say, look guys, this is the situation, this needs to be said, and just doing that over and over and over again until people get the message. So anyways, I just wanted to throw that out there. Nothing against the brand, just my honest knee-jerk reaction. You guys know I don't actually enjoy being negative, so it's kind of a rare day for me that I am put into this kind of moment, but it needs to be said. So leave me your guys' thoughts down below. Also, don't forget you can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter. They're both linked down below. Y'all know it. Go ahead, click the hyperlink and click follow. If you enjoy skincare at all, you will definitely want to follow me on Instagram, because honey, over on Instagram we do skincare Saturday/Sunday, where we hang out, we talk about skincare, something new, we do a mask, we talk about ingredients, what's good for the skin, what's not good for the skin, and we really dive into it. And if you love my videos here Monday through Friday, 5 videos, girl, if you're looking for that 6th video, definitely follow me on Instagram, because it is a minute. Like, there's a lot of little tiles across the top of my Instagram on the weekend. Like, we get in, we get down with some skincare, so definitely follow me if you are not yet. And also don't forget you can follow me here on the wonderful U of 2, because y'all, I upload 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They go up bright and early, that's right, you guessed it, between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan. And you guys, it's a good time. We talk about makeup, new, old, love it, hate it, doesn't matter. We talk about it all on this channel. We are open, we are honest, and we are always kind to each other down in the comments. So keep that in mind. And you guys, that is it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh my God, Lord, I stabbed myself twice. Ugh. Because to me, they seemed very similar, but I was like, girl, Nars ain't stupid. So what? Pooper. Honey, you don't have to cry. You just have to walk back here to Sissy. You don't have to cry. I'm super excited because we are diving into some new Nars good times. What? Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige. It diffused so well, I love that that brush was sticking up the whole time, so that's cool. You bitch. You know, it's not bad enough that I jam myself in the eye with the mascara wand. Then I have to do that. Pooper, honey.